We are editing these videos on a Z Workstation's machine. Check them out. When you compare it to like an HP workstation, that's what they configure and they customize. It's going to be less expensive. You're going to have more options like the GTX 1080 Ti. You can't get the GTX series on HP. And also it's way easier to work with. Plus you can do payments if you need to. If you're ready for the workstation, step up to Z Workstations or I'll kick you in the teeth. Also thanks to ASRock, we've got 2 videos, Intel and AMD. The links are in the description for all this. Check it out. Are you ready for a scientific information overload that's actually quite interesting? Well, we're here with Jacob at Noctua, and this is your oldest thing and it's brand new, the NFA12.
Exactly, we've released this fan just about a month ago. Right. Almost 5 years in the making, so we're glad to have it finally out, and a lot of the stuff we're showing here this year is actually about making good use of that nice fan.
Now, you've got fans everywhere, and I know we got a lot of desktop users. How about a desktop fan for the desktop users?
Yeah, this is actually something completely new for us, a desk fan. It stems from an idea one of our engineers had, because he was fed up with the quality you get when you just buy a $10 desk fan on some kind of e-tailer. So he started working on his own design, and we soon realized that this was so good that we wanted to make more of it. And the end result, or to be more precise, a prototype you're seeing here. It uses what we call an airflow amplification system that actually enhances the airflow of the NFA12X25 fan.
All right, so I see there's a bunch of math over here, right?
Yes, exactly.
There's a bunch of math, and then we've got some channels here.
The system basically works in 3 steps. The first is to take the rotational energy the fan produces and to convert that rotational energy into straight kinetic energy. So we're recovering the rotational energy to speed up the airflow. That's the first step. The second step is to further increase the speed of the air by pushing it through that funnel shape, and with reduced cross-sectional area, fluids always speed up, and this is how we further speed up the airflow. And the third step to enhance the airflow is based on the so-called Venturi effect, named after the Italian physicist Giovanni Battista Venturi, who discovered that whenever fluid pressure, fluid speed goes up, fluid pressure will go down due to the law of energy conservation. So as we're speeding up the air, when it goes through that funnel system, the pressure will drop. So we have low pressure at the outlet side of the funnel, and this will draw in additional air from the side that gets added to the beam of air that we produce with the airflow amplification.
So it's essentially pulling the air from here and just accelerating more air at you.
Yes, exactly. And the end result is that we have around 20 decibel fan pushing a really strong, focused airflow towards you. That's definitely gonna keep you cool, nice and cool on those hot summer days.
So it's essentially a spotlight for air if spotlights could suck extra light particles into the beam.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, you need some of those because our AC is broken. You know how soon this is going to be available?
I really cannot say yet. As you can see, this is still prototype, 3D printed. The whole design looks a little bit rough, admittedly. So we're still working with a design company to make it nice and pretty so that it easily blends into desk environments.
All right, so we've cooled ourselves off. Let's cool off some CPUs, shall we?
Yes, we can start with the very big ones.
3647.
Yeah, as you know, these CPUs have huge heat spreaders, so we have huge bases to match them. Thermal compound pre-applied here because a lot of them will be used by system integrators, and for those, of course, time is precious, so they can just pop on the cooler, get going.
I like the attention to detail there with the honeycomb pattern instead of just doing a pure flat silk screen. So this way, when you mash it in, it'll fill in all the holes and have better coverage.
This is to make sure that we have ideal bond line thickness and nice spreading of the thermal compound, and you really end up with a perfect application like only a very, very experienced user could do by putting a dot and spreading it.
Attention to detail is good.
Yeah, we'll have 92 millimeter, 120 millimeter, and 140 millimeter models. So basically covering all needs for LGA 3647 based Xeon workstations, or maybe even for you servers in the case of the 92mm units.
And that should fit into just about everything.
Yes.
Awesome.
We may also follow up with 1U and 2U units eventually.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit smaller then. A little bit shorter, I guess, right?
Yeah.
This is probably, well, I don't want to say the coolest thing here, but I think it's one of the coolest things here. So what are we looking at on this test right here?
This is a live demo that shows our next generation NHU12 cooler. Once again, an example of making use of the new NFA12 X25 fan. As you can see, it has 2 of those fans installed in a push-pull configuration. It uses 7 heat pipes, has around 38% more surface area compared to the NHU12S. And what we're achieving this way is actually roughly the same performance as our current flagship model NHD15. So you're having a 120mm size cooler that can rival the performance of 140mm units.
All right, so you've got 2 stacks there with the NHD15, and you're just using a single, it looks like a thicker stack right there.
Yes, exactly. The stack is, as I've said, 38% more surface area than the current generation NHU12 single tower cooler. And we're using 2 fans to really make good use of that thick fin stack, because the thicker the stack, the more pressure and the more fan performance you need to get
so you're getting about the same performance. This is doing something weird right now.
Yes, they are the same performance, but I'm afraid you'll have to take my word for it, because it looks like something just broke down, because one reading is way off. But I'm sure Logan can confirm that
just a minute ago they were both
45. We're within a fraction of a degree, and that's what you can expect when it hits the market towards the end of the year.
And you're running 220 watts into both of these.
Yes, we're not chickening out on the heat load here. It's not like we're comparing at 60 watt or something like that, where pretty much every cooler could offer similar performance. We're cranking 220 watts, and even at this very high heat load, the new smaller cooler can perform in the same performance category as the large NHD15.
Now, I know we've been on this one for a minute, but one more thing. When I first looked at this, I thought, okay, of course, the 15 centimeter fans are going to be a little quieter, but you guys have engineered these so that when they are on the stack, tell me about that. They are quieter.
Fan specifications, measurements for fan specifications are usually or always done in free flow scenarios, and in the free flow scenario the A15 is actually a little bit quieter than the A12. But we've spent a lot of time developing the A12 to fine-tune the on-application acoustics. So what that means is that we put in extra work to make it sound as pleasant as possible when it's installed on a heatsink or on a radiator. And the background of this is that the fan acoustics can change a lot once you have back pressure in an application such as on a heatsink and on a radiator, because the way the air comes off the fan will be completely different as compared to a free flow scenario.
So bottom line for people at home, way smaller, and it's going to be quieter?
Yes,
and about the same performance.
From the measured sound pressure level, it's going to be just a little bit lower, but the perceived sound pressure level is going to be quite a little bit better. Yeah, because it's just more pleasant to the ear.
That's awesome, because a lot of people are going to love something this small for their different cases.
Yeah, there are lots of benefits. You can fit pretty much any modern tower case. It won't overhang your PCIe. It will clear your RAM on pretty much any current socket. So you just have the compatibility of a compact 120mm cooler, but really top tier air cooling performance.
Awesome. All right, I know everyone's excited about colors, so
yes,
let's take a look at the Chromax line over here.
Yeah, so we launched the black Chromax line fans last fall, and this way we gave users the opportunity to change the colors, the outlook of their Noctua coolers, but we created the somewhat unfortunate situation that when people bought, for example, new D15 cooler, extra Chromax fans, extra Chromax cover, they had to find some other use for the original fans. And while I'm convinced that you can never have enough Noctua fans, for some people I understand it was breaking the bank. So we're going to come up with all black coolers that come with ED coated heatsinks, all black fans, black anti-vibration pads, black fan clips, even black mounting parts. So they're really going to be black from head to toe. We'll have the NHD15, NHU12S, and NHL9i, so our currently most popular cooler models.
Are you going to be selling the fans, especially the static pressure ones, individually?
They're already available. These are the Chromax line fans
you can get these same ones here individually?
Exactly.
Okay.
These are the ones we've launched last fall. But we're also going to introduce further Chromax line fans, like 20 centimeter, slim 120 millimeter, 92 millimeter, slim 92, and 80 millimeter, all in black with swappable color rubber pads.
Beautiful. We could mention this, but I'm not sure if it's as interesting as this is.
Yeah.
Not to me anyway, but maybe to somebody.
It's definitely an eye catcher, I would say. It's a custom design of our heatsink covers done by a Portuguese graffiti artist called Lefunky. Yeah, it just shows you nicely what you can do with the covers if you want to go creative. You can just buy one of the standard black or white covers and do some custom painting to get that like really individual look for your Noctua cooler.
Should get someone to do some Zweihander art on there, some of them from our video game. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be good. All right, moving on along. Necessary things here. Some very necessary things.
Small but useful. We keep seeing people daisy chaining Y cables if they want to run multiple PWM fans on a PWM.
I've never done that before. Maybe I have.
And as that can be a little bit messy, we're coming up with this 8-port fan hub that allows you to connect 8 fans to a single PWM fan header. You can power it directly from the power supply if it's high power fans if you like, or directly from the motherboard fan header.
Yeah, the simplicity of that just does what it does.
Yes, it has magnets on the rear side, so you can basically just click it to your case wherever you want to install it.
You little step down here.
Yeah, the second little accessory is for the 3D printing folks out there, a 24 volt to 12 volt step down converter. Because many 3D printers use 24 volt, and so far we only offer a 140 and 120 millimeter 24 volt fans. But for 3D printing, you may want 40 millimeter or 60 millimeter, and this little adapter is actually gonna allow you to run any 12 volt fan in a 24 volt environment. So you can take any of our 12 volt fans, like the 40 millimeter, 60 millimeter ones, and run them in your 3D printing setup or whatever 24 volt application you have.
Here's a first for Noctua. These stacks, you guys have stacked these things without solder?
Yes. The Redux line is all about making proven, well-established products more affordable, and we now plan to do exactly that with the cooler. We're going to take the existing NHU12S cooler, take away either 1 or 2 heat pipes. This is something we'll still have to figure out. We're using press fit rather than soldering for the fins for the first time. We're going to equip it with a P12 Redux fan, and all this is to reach a target price of around 40 USD. Now, when you think 40 USD coolers, you typically have those flimsy mounting systems. One of the highlights of our models will be that we use the same sturdy, quality, proven Secufirm 2 mounting system that you're used to from our premium line coolers, but at a really affordable price.
With 70% less swearing. Well, while you're doing your builds, that's about what it is for me. About 70% less swearing. Not guaranteed, but typical results may vary. There's the fans as well.
Yeah,
I like to look at that. It looks nice. Finding your fans all over the place. What do we have here?
Yes, we always like to show some of the non-PC applications we're doing as well. What you see here is a print head of a Prusa 3D printer. And as so many customers replaced the original fan with our A4X10 fan, Prusa eventually got in touch with us, and now the latest generation Prusa printer is using our A4X10 fan, so you can print quietly now.
Nice. And an alarm clock. Okay, we have an alarm clock here at the Noctua booth. What's going on?
It's not your average alarm clock. It's an olfactory alarm clock. So it's waking you up with scent rather than with sound. You can insert
that makes a lot of sense.
Capsules.
Oh.
Oh my God. So you can put in scent capsules like coffee, peppermint, house burning down, maybe cigarettes if you're into that. And as it's supposed to wake you up with the scent rather than with a sound, they needed a quiet fan. So they're using our A4X20 fan. You can maybe see the brown peeking through the fan grill. It pushes out the scent in a quiet manner. So we have 5-volt fans coming up, should be launched towards the end of August. Sizes all the way from 20 centimeter to 80 millimeter. They will come with a USB cable, so you can just hook them up to your power bank, to your mobile phone power supply, any 5-volt source really, and yeah, add cooling to wherever the need for cooling occurs.
I'm going to Velcro one to the front of my hat for when I'm walking around in Taiwan.
Yeah. The big one I would suggest.
Yeah, just get the 20 right in front of your hat.
Could slightly block your view though.
That's okay. It's more important than seeing. It's so hot here. And then everyone was asking about when you were going to do some of your new material.
Yes.
But at 140 millimeters.
Exactly. When we released the A12X25, a lot of people were asking for the 140 millimeter version.
Asking is a nice way to put it.
Yes. Pushily asking. And the bottom line is, we know you want this, we're working on it, but it's just not that straightforward. You cannot just take a fan, scale up the 3D printing and expect it to perform well. It needs a lot of work, a lot of fine tuning on the minute details, on the profile, on the swept, on the curvature of the blade. So for us, basically every size is a new development project. And this is why we're taking so much time to work on the 140 millimeter. We're already 2 years in working on this one, but we still don't have it at a level where we're really confident that we want to put it out like that. And one of the reasons why we're having such a hard time getting it to the level we want it to be is actually the A12 fan we just released, because there's this optional adapter that allows you to install it on 140 millimeter water cooling radiators, and the performance is so good that it's actually quite hard to come up with a 140 millimeter fan that can outperform this combination.
Got a couple of those extra back there? I just installed a 280 and I was like, oh.
We can send you more if you like.
I'll get them.
No
they're cheap on Amazon. That's awesome. Okay, and just for everyone's reference, this is not the color of the fan. I know the comments are going to be like, ooh, clear. No, this is just the prototype.
Don't worry. We're not just about to enter the RGB war. This is just the material we use for prototyping, and this is not what the final fan is going to look like.
You know, you can deliver a lot more airflow if you just put LEDs all around here. It actually goes up by about 10 cubic feet
RGB
per...
RGB makes it faster.
Now that you're saying it, I guess we should really look into that.
You guys heard it here first. Okay, last thing is not the least thing.
Yes, as we've told
prototypes.
As we've told you, we're beefing up the 120 millimeter size coolers to the level of the 140 millimeter units. So we also have to do something on the 140 millimeter front. So what you can see here is 2 prototypes, both having the aim of further improving on the existing NHD15. One is using the same dual tower design with 7 heat pipes, and the other is using a wider single tower design, also with 7 heat pipes. Both are designed asymmetrical so that they will clear your PCIe slot. And at the moment, I cannot really say which one's going to make the race, because they are really neck and neck with performance-wise, and we'll have to do a little bit more work on it, a little bit more fine-tuning to see which one we're actually going to put to the market.
I'm really loving the size of the single stack, but whichever one performs best, of course.
Yeah, the single one obviously has the benefit of not obstructing your RAM slots at all, and this is actually a big bonus, of course, and if they are going to be at the same level of performance, that's probably going to be the deciding factor why we go for the 100 for the single tower model.
All right, well, Jacob, always innovating, unbelievable. I had no idea where you guys were going to go after last year, but still making more, still innovating. So
thank you very much.
So guys, in the comments, let us know what you think. Let us know what your favorite product was, and say hi to Jacob. Thanks very much, Jacob.
Thank you.